This video is sponsored by Squarespace. It's time for Regular Show! If you're an average cartoon enjoyer, chances are you're a fan of Regular Show. Sure, this animated TV show has its fair share of weird humor and silly faces. Seriously, some of these frames are extremely cursed, I won't lie. But I think overall, Regular Show is pretty good. I'd even personally say it's one of the defining cartoons of the 2010s. However, that's not to say it's all positive, because every now and then there comes a moment so bad, so horrendous, that it's just impossible to ignore. You'd swear the creators of the show have a PhD in cringe, because sometimes this stuff is really hard to watch. I know you know what I mean. In my last Regular Show video, I covered the lowest rated episodes ever, but even then I got a cajillion comments telling me to watch 2 more episodes. So today, I'll be trusting the viewers and taking a look at 2 of the most hated Regular Show episodes in full for the first time to see if they're really that bad. I'm gonna be honest, Bald Spot was a rough watch. Can it really be worse than that? Let's find out, I guess. Anyway, enough with the long intro. Go grab your copy of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Game of the Year, and let's jump into what some people call the most hated Regular Show episode of all time. This first hated episode is called The Best Burger in the World. Very fitting name considering this show always cooks. Our adventure begins with the entire gang hanging out outside. I'm assuming everyone already knows these guys. If you don't, they're all pretty weird, and that's pretty much it. You're all caught up. Mordecai tells everyone that there's a food truck coming around lunchtime, and apparently they make the best burgers in the world. I'm more of a Wendy's guy, personally. If you're seeing this, please follow me, Wendy's. My DMs are open. But seriously, these burgers that this food truck serves are apparently actually the best in the world. We get a quick flashback thing where Mordecai and Rigby are watching a commercial for the burger. It's called the Ultimatum, which sounds like one of those horrible Netflix originals or something. In the commercial, the guy who cooks everything explains that he cooks a cheeseburger and then puts that inside another cheeseburger and then cooks 2 more cheeseburgers to act as the buns. I know every American is viciously salivating at the moment, and with only 70% chance of cardiac arrest, who can really blame them?
Anyone who doesn't eat one is a chump.
Did bro just hit the Wakanda forever? Damn, I feel like a chump now. I feel like I gotta eat this burger. Also, it's specifically mentioned that these burgers are only served once every 100 years. Not sure how that makes any sense at all. Like, were they serving this thing before the cheeseburger was even invented 100 years ago? Is this the first time they serve this thing ever? Answers we may never know. But then, a character named Benson, who's everyone's boss, shows up and lets the gang know that there's a lot of work to be done around the property. If you don't know him, Benson is kind of an angry dude most of the time. I think most people hate him, but in my opinion, he's actually the best part about the entire show. I don't know why. I just like this guy. He's cool. Also, not sure why, but he's a bubblegum machine, I think. Everyone else here is at least some sort of living creature. So, I don't know. This is very weird. Whatever you do, do not turn on RTX. So everyone's got a couple jobs to finish before they can get a burger. Everyone except Mordecai and Rigby, who actually have like 5 times the amount of work to do since they're really lazy and spent all of last week playing Marvel Rivals. Very relatable. But seriously, this is the main premise for this episode. Rigby and Mordecai have a bunch of work to do, and they have to do it all before they can get a burger because Benson is like, do your work. You gotta do your work now. Very high stakes, this one. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. This is when the food truck immediately shows up. Mordecai and Rigby seem a little surprised by this. I guess they didn't check the schedule on the food truck's website. A website which would have looked really good had it been created with today's sponsor. Today's sponsor, Squarespace, is the all-in-one platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content online. When talking about managing payments, Squarespace Payments makes it super easy. Onboarding is quick, so you can start receiving payments in just a few clicks, offering customers options like Klarna, Apple Pay, and Afterpay. Also with Squarespace, you can explore design intelligence. It combines 20 years of design expertise with AI to help you craft a beautiful, personalized website and helps you build a recognizable online identity. Seriously, if you ever want to build a website, this is the way to go. It's everything I mentioned and so much more, so visit squarespace.com to start your free trial today. And when you're ready to launch, head over to squarespace.com/Darzii to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Back to the video. So the food truck arrives and Mordecai and Rigby beg to get a burger. Benson is very stubborn and insists that the boys need to finish their work first.
Neither one of you is going near that burger truck.
Benson is always just like one mild inconvenience away from like blowing up a building or something. He's always so furious. We get a quick montage of the boys doing some work, only to try to get some burgers in secret every single time. It doesn't work though, and every time they try, Benson is there to stop them. He's like Navi from Ocarina of Time. Bro just appears out of nowhere and halts their progress immediately. After the montage, we see that everyone else in the group already has their hands on a delicious Ultimatum burger. It's kind of cruel eating it right in front of them like that, not gonna lie. Mordecai is scared that he's gonna miss his chance to buy a burger, so he asks one of the boys to buy one for him. Skips explains that the food truck only sells one burger per customer. Earlier, we already established that every burger is actually made of like 4 other cheeseburgers, so in some weird way, they already broke the 1 burger per customer rule. Doesn't really matter though, I guess. Also, these burgers look nothing like the ones we saw on TV earlier, which you might think is a negative criticism I have towards the show, but actually, plus 10 points for realism. Literally every fast food place lies about everything. So everyone's enjoying their burgers, especially Pops. Benson shows up again and tells the boys to get back to work. This entire episode is just a toxic cycle about an abuse of power.
Did I tell you you could stop working? Get in the car!
Benson tries to cut the guys some slack and explains that if they can clean out the garage, he'll let them get some burgers before the food truck leaves. And you might think this sounds like a good deal, but turns out this thing is packed to the brim with random junk. It looks like an episode of Storage Wars in there or something. This could obviously take all day, and everyone knows by now that Mordecai and Rigby take as many shortcuts as humanly possible in life. So I'm not kidding here. They just happen to find a machine labeled Hologram 9000 and decide to use it on themselves to get out of cleaning the garage. It honestly looked like they were making decent progress on this thing, but I also understand not wanting to break your back by age 25.
Let's go for burgers.
The food was there for like, what, an hour? What if you got stuck in traffic or something on the way there? No goated burger for you then, I guess. Rigby gets in the machine that they for some reason know how to operate. Mordecai puts the setting on extremely realistic, which surely won't be a horrible mistake they'll regret forever. Mordecai gets a hologram as well. These things are frozen inside a pane of glass and glowing bright green. That's what I call extremely realistic. Mordecai and Rigby put some boxes around the holograms, and when Benson drives by to check up on them, he somehow gets fooled by this. I love Benson, and I'm usually pretty biased when it comes to him, not gonna lie. But like, dude, not even I can defend this. He definitely needs an eye exam or something. So because the decoys worked, Mordecai and Rigby run to the food truck and make their order right away. They play this moment off like it's super suspenseful. The boys are eagerly waiting for their food. Benson is slowly getting more and more suspicious. There's the most suspenseful music track you'll ever hear in your entire life playing in the background. This is very spooky. I can't take it anymore. Eventually, Benson finds out the truth and quickly makes his way to the food truck to stop the boys from receiving their burgers. Benson is very mad. It's like he activated his rage mode from God of War or something. This next part is completely in slow motion for some reason. Just as the boys are about to finally grab their burgers, the hologram versions of Mordecai and Rigby show up and snatch the burgers from them. What? What a crazy plot twist. This is cinema. Turns out these holograms are actually alive and really want to eat the best burgers in the world, I guess. Also, you might have noticed that the colors in these scenes randomly changed. For some reason, it just randomly switches. I'm not sure why. I've looked at a bunch of different versions of this episode online too, and for some reason, this change of color happens every single time. Like, it was probably intentional, because like, how do you not notice the color change? If anyone has any idea what's going on here, I would actually love to know. Why is everything so pink all of a sudden? Did my monitor just break or something? Hello? Benson shows up and he's mad at everyone. The next 2 minutes is entirely dedicated to some epic fight scene between everyone. The holograms should win every time because they literally have a level 99 shield surrounding them at all times, but that wouldn't be very regular of them. So Rigby throws a rock at the glass. The holograms die. There's some classic opera music playing while it happens in slow motion again. A lot of this is drawn out, and for some reason that makes it a lot funnier to me.
We just wanted a burger.
Our boys win the fight. Also, the color returns back to normal. I'm so confused. What does this mean? Mordecai and Rigby are finally about to eat the best burgers in the world. But of course, this episode is in this video for a reason. And we find out that Benson actually just finished eating both of the burgers that will never be sold again for at least another 100 years. L plus bozos plus should have cleaned the garage. I expected the episode to end here, but actually Benson talks trash for a little bit, hits the gritty on them, that sort of thing. The boys try to order another set of burgers, but actually the food truck accidentally reversed into a giant pit, blowing the head chef up and destroying the entire supply of premium ingredients. And that's just kind of it. And that was one of the most hated regular show episodes of all time. I can see why people don't really like it. It's got some funny moments, and not every episode needs to be super in-depth to be good, but a lot of this episode felt like filler nonsense. Some random things happen that don't really push the episode forward, and in the end, the quote-unquote bad guy wins. Like, Mordecai and Rigby just lose. That's the story. This episode left me feeling unsatisfied personally, but that doesn't mean that it's the worst episode ever. Oh no, that title has been given to the next episode, because apparently it's so bad, you'll destroy your phone in anger while watching it. This is a real stat. I did not make this up. So without wasting any more time, let's watch what's apparently the actual most hated regular show episode of all time. This episode that everyone hates is called The Longest Weekend. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This episode focuses primarily on Muscle Man, which means it's most likely a flaming piece of garbage. Our story begins with Rigby, Mordecai, Muscle Man, Starla, Eileen, and Margaret. They're all at the movie theater watching some Markiplier videos. After they finish watching them, everyone kind of agrees that it was kind of boring and didn't make any sense. Obviously, that Markiplier bit was a joke. No, what they were actually watching was some random black and white foreign film that's like 3 hours long or something. Obviously, poking fun at film elitists that think they're better than everyone because you like to watch colorful action movies instead of grayscale meta commentary about depression. I'm very passionate about this. Everyone should enjoy movies. The movie they watched was actually about two lovers and them testing their love by staying apart for a weekend. Like I said, everyone kind of thinks the movie was boring, but Starla actually thinks the movie has some merit and thinks that being apart is a good way to test a couple's love. So Starla tells Muscle Man that the two are going to stay apart for one weekend just to see how it goes. Starla complains for a bit and then she complains a little bit more. Someone please end my suffering.
If we can't get through 2 days apart, how are we gonna stay together forever?
What is she yapping about? It almost makes sense. Like, I almost get it. This is not going to be fun, dude. So this episode is basically just a major test of love. The plan is that Starla and Muscle Man are basically not allowed to talk to each other for one whole weekend. The girls leave and Muscle Man takes off his shirt because he always does this for some reason, like all the time. This scene goes on for a while. He just like dances for a bit. We then skip to Muscle Man watching some TV alone at his place. He's watching some monster trucks do monster truck things. Everything seems chill until the monster trucks start randomly kissing each other in what I can only describe as mechanical sexual tension. I'm trademarking this term, by the way. This is my term now. Muscle Man catches himself thinking about Starla during all of this and freaks out a little bit. He hallucinates a couple times and everything he sees reminds him of Starla. It's kind of sweet that he thinks about her as much as he does, to be honest, but also it's been like, what, 30 minutes? No way, bro's already down bad. Bro took the Far Cry 3 drugs and started seeing talking nuggets. Turns out Muscle Man needs help with all of this. He's scared that if he caves and just calls Starla, she won't think that he loves her enough to be apart from her, so she'll like dump him or something. It's like that one very famous quote that everyone knows. I love, therefore I will ignore. Silk Song developer. Muscle Man runs into Mordecai, Rigby, and High Five Ghost for help. He feels like he's about to explode, so he needs the boys to distract him for a little bit.
I see her everywhere.
Dude is straight up addicted to Starla. I promise you, it's not that serious. Pee-wee 2 just came out, dude. Just go watch that and play it for a bit. So what happens next is the regular show classic, a drawn-out montage segment with some really loud music playing, like really loud, like you can barely even hear what they're actually saying. The music just muffles their voice. In this montage, Muscle Man tries to contact Starla a bunch of times, but Mordecai and Rigby stop him every time. Eventually, Muscle Man just ends up playing Counter-Strike, very base. We skip over to Starla and the girls so we can see what they're up to. Starla's kind of upset because Muscle Man hasn't called her yet. So even though Starla's the one that wanted to be apart for the weekend, she's still mad at Muscle Man for not making the effort to see her. So far, this episode is very cool. Very cool, dude.
You should know the difference between me meaning things and me not meaning things.
There's a scene where Margaret calls Mordecai and lets her know about the situation. They both let each other know that Starla and Muscle Man just want to see each other. So like, what's even the issue here? Just like let them see each other. I don't get it. Mordecai is super awkward during this call and has what most of my viewers would call El Riz.
Talk to you later. See you at midnight. Bye.
That was hard to watch, man. Mordecai's got zero stats put into confidence. I feel for him. I feel so bad. Mordecai checks in on Muscle Man, who's actually trying to escape in secret to go visit Starla. It doesn't really work though, and everyone like holds him down like he's an ex-convict or something. Eventually, they just tie him up to stop him from trying again. It's explained that to save Muscle Man's relationship, Starla and Muscle Man have to stay apart at least until midnight. It's always midnight for some reason. So everyone in the room takes turns watching Muscle Man basically die of boredom. Seriously, he just sits there for like hours. At least turn on the TV or something. Eventually, it's Rigby's turn to watch him, and of course, he gets persuaded to untie him. Rigby immediately gets one-tapped and dies. Everyone else comes in and holds Muscle Man down again, which is when he starts howling into the void. I promise, this is important. Back to the girls, and I guess they've been sitting in the same spot for like 10 hours now, since they haven't moved at all since the last time we saw them. Starla somehow hears Muscle Man's howl, so she starts howling back, and the two randomly start glowing and generate this orb shield thing around them. Do they ever glow like this again? Do these two have magical powers or something? They're basically both Violet from The Incredibles. Anyway, the two start floating towards each other. All of the friends try to hold them back to save their relationship. Eventually, the two reach Mach 10 speed and collide with each other, causing a massive explosion. There's some weird shots here that have nothing to do with this episode, but they just like randomly play. I don't even know how to describe it. There's just a random montage of things getting destroyed constantly. What is going on? Dude just blew up. I don't even know who that was. Anyway, it's actually okay that Muscle Man and Starla are back together now because it's actually midnight, which is like the whole thing they were waiting for or whatever. The two exclaim their love for each other. They start making out in front of everyone, and that's just like the end of the episode. There's not really an explanation on whether the relationship is stronger now or not. This truly was a regular show. And that was the most hated regular show episode ever, apparently. Was it really that bad? Well, it wasn't that good, I will be honest. Much like the first episode I watched, not all of this was horrible. There are some funny moments. Honestly, regular show just kind of understands comedy, so it's rare for them to catch an L. But this episode was just kind of boring, honestly. The premise is kind of weird and flawed, and Muscle Man and Starla's relationship is just kind of annoying. I know some people are gonna get mad at me for saying that, but I think most people would rather have a cool Mordecai and Rigby adventure than another Muscle Man episode. I don't know why TV shows always make full episodes on their side characters that are generally less entertaining. That's what they do. Yep. Listen, I still love this show. I'm still gonna watch it when I can. But is there any other bad episodes you want me to watch? Any episodes you specifically hate for some reason? Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe I'll make a video. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Become a member of the channel for only $1. It gets your name at the end of all my future videos right here. Shout out to all my current members. I've been pretty sick lately, and to have you guys stick around through the slow uploads has made me extremely thankful. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much. Paul Abdul scores this one a solid 2 hated episodes out of 5. And yeah, thanks for watching.
He should know the difference between
Just wanted a burger.